Hello everyone and welcome to the second patch discussion for the 3.1 mock for PhD. This patch is coming out a week after Trivi's release. Here are the implemented costs. I'll put them on the screen really quickly. You can pause the video at any point to take a closer look, and let's jump straight into it. First off, erudition characters have evolved to become top contenders in the meta since the first discussion. As people have learned to deal with Nicador's mechanics a lot better, erudition characters are getting faster and faster clears. Jade in particular has been a character we've had our eye on since the first patch discussion, and since then she's proven herself to consistently put up monstrous results against Nicador. She's very flexible in draft, has a ton of different support options, and she can also run with a multitude of different drivers. Trivi's release has only bolstered Jade further, being both the Jade support and the Jade driver in a single package. For this reason, base Jade will be getting nerfs with some compensation buffs for higher Eidolons. Next up, Aglaia is performing a little better than we initially thought. She has shown herself to be less reliant on Sunday than we initially thought, being able to take cheaper supports and still clear in a competitively viable speed. Not only that, her clears with Sunday are getting faster as people have figured out Nicador's mechanics. For these two reasons, that her cheap teams are being discovered and her premium teams are performing a lot better, her base will be getting nerfed. Next up, low-eyed Acheron such as E0 and E1 seem to be struggling. Even though the Swarm is a really good boss for Acheron, these low-eyed Acherons simply lack the damage needed to get through the tanky Wave 1 because of HP inflation. For that reason, E0 Acheron will be getting buffs, while E2 Acheron will be getting compensation nerfs because E2 Acheron is performing fine, being able to take harmonies to bolster her damage. Next up, the Herta seems to be performing just fine the way she is. As mentioned before in the previous patch discussion, her mechanics don't fit as well into Nicador. However, despite that, she is very, very flexible because she can go on both sides. That flexibility keeps her a strong contender in the meta. Despite that, because her mechanics are struggling into Nicador, her higher Eidolons are underperforming. For that reason, her higher Eidolons at E2 will be getting a slight buff, but her base form will not be getting any changes. Next up, we said we would keep an eye on Serval and how strong she would be, and with Trivi's release, she has proven to be a lot stronger. Because she's performing well as both a Jade and a Trivi driver, she will be getting small nerfs. Argenti, for the same reason, because he got stronger with Trivi's release, will also be getting nerfs. Next up, we said we'd be keeping an eye on Fei Xiao. Fei Xiao E2 has proven to be pretty strong on both sides, being able to deal with Nicador's mechanics and being able to brute force Bug in a competitive manner. However, Fei Xiao is semi-reliant on Robin, so this is something that can be targeted in draft. She also has carved a niche for herself as a Jade E1 driver. So for that reason, Fei Xiao will be getting a small nerf at E2. We've also targeted March Hunt as one of the reasons behind Fei Xiao's success, being one of the better supports for Fei Xiao on both sides. She's able to kill the bugs for Fei Xiao, and she's also able to break Nicador's armor quickly, while also clearing spears alongside Fei Xiao. As she is able to deal with the mechanics on both sides, she has been targeted as one of the reasons for Fei Xiao's success. Not only that, March Hunt has also found herself a small niche in Super Break by herself. For that reason and her flexibility, she will be getting small nerfs. Moza, for a similar reason, proves to be strong for Fei Xiao against the Swarm. His raw single target amp and damage is great for side 1, where he can provide the buffs without needing to switch targets like Topaz needs to with Numbi. For that reason, Moza will be getting a small nerf. Now, as for Super Break, since the last patch discussion, Super Break has kind of fallen by the wayside. In particular, Rappa seems to have been nerfed a little too heavily because she seems to be more reliant on Fugue than we initially thought. She has also shown to rely very heavily on having Gallagher or Lingsha in order to deal with the fire weak enemies on Wave 1. For that reason, Rappa will be getting small buffs. On the flip side of that, Fugue buffs may have been too much, because Fugue has shown to rear her ugly head, being stronger than expected with Boot Hill, Lingsha, Rappa, and March. Not only that, it seems that the raw damage buffs are a lot stronger than we expected because of HP inflation, and for that reason, Fiug at a base does edge out over IMC. Further monitoring may be required, but at a base, she will be getting nerfed. Now, to address the elephant in the room, Tribby. Tribby is very, very strong, but a lot more restrictive than we initially thought. She mostly benefits AoE attackers and frequent attackers. Uh, she is also one of the strongest DDD holders in the game. Being able to abuse DDD and advance for a lot of characters is very strong into Nicador. However, her signature, bringing more damage, is stronger into Swarm. But despite her strength, it seems that she is restrictive, and because of the limitations of the characters that she's being run with, she will be getting small buffs. But we will definitely keep an eye on this character. Now, for a couple outliers that we've discovered, E6 Tribby has proven to be very strong as a DPS into Nicador with cheap drivers. This will be getting nerfed very slightly, and most of the nerfs are counteracted, however, by the base buffs. Part of that nerf is a cost to E4, which I forgot because I was busy. E4 actually didn't cost anything before, but it is Death Shred for your whole team. It did deserve to get costed, and so higher IDed Tribby will get nerfed a little bit. Next up, E6 Sunday has proven to be a lot stronger than we initially thought, mostly because the interaction between E2 and E4 mimic the benefits of the signature. E2 gives SP and damage percent. The E4 gives the same energy as the signature, a little bit more, but enough to give him that 3-turn ultimate. For that reason, E4 and E6 Sunday are able to drop signature and run a different cone entirely, be it a cheaper cone or a DDD. Because E6 Sunday doesn't have to run cone and still gets the same benefits of the cone, it can save costs. And for that reason, a lot of this cost will be going onto the E2 and the E4, which allow E6 Sunday to drop the cone. Now, as for keeping an eye on things, Jimmy right now is performing pretty well, but his consistency is being investigated because in some scenarios he is performing very well, but in other cases he doesn't seem to be performing as well. As for Super Break, previous changes in the first discussion didn't make them the top picks of the meta anymore, but they're still very strong. Tribby's release opened up a lot more new comps, which also pushed them a little bit out of the meta. So we'll be keeping an eye on them and potentially buffing them in the future. And as for Tribby, we are monitoring the new buffs. We'll also investigate the new comps that she will enable as people get their hands on her and play her a lot more. Now, we have a couple upcoming events to get out of the way before I close off this video. March 8th and 9th is the Tribby tournament. I invite everyone to come watch on Discord. The link is in the description. There will be 4 time slots that will be running. We have a 6 a.m. PST and a 6 p.m. PST on the 8th, and on the 9th, we have 11 a.m. PST and 7 p.m. PST. The next balance, the third patch discussion, will be coming out on the 16th and 17th of March with implementation set to be put in around the 19th and 20th of March, depending on our time. And aside from that, I wish everybody a very happy My Day release when he does come out, and best of luck for people who are pulling. And that'll be it. I'll see you guys in the next balance update. Peace. Bye.